Before we get into the video, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Skillshare.
Hey, hey, hey.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What do you get? Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to week infinity of Camp Social Distance here at HyperRPG. This is HyperCast, our weekly podcast with all the updates of what's going on in the world around us and HyperRPG. And there is a lot to talk about today, so this will be a long episode.
I'd like to start, if I could, with an update.
Fine.
So last week, I not only beat Zach in Warhammer. Zach got last place. I mean, Malika technically won the match, but I not only beat Zach in Warhammer, I also won Magic: The Gathering. And I think that that's important to talk about, okay? I'd love to spend some time talking about that.
I think it's important to acknowledge that there's a first time for everything, and Lucas deserves proper credit for that.
Don't even take the high road right now. Don't even fight me.
No, you did it.
Fight me.
You had a good game.
Help me be mad.
You had a good game.
I want to be mad.
I lost. It happens.
I fucked you up, dude. I fucked you up so bad.
Yeah,
and
man.
Then,
you spanked me.
man, it was
Spanked
rad
me.
in Magic. I was like, board wipe. I got this card that can board wipe. Malik was about to run away with it. Everyone was like, dude, there's no way. Why doesn't he just give up? And I was like, tee-hee-hee-hee.
You did good.
Board wipe.
You're learning. I'm proud.
Oh, I'm learning. I'm learning. I go home and practice.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even think about it until it's
Yeah.
a minute before the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, right. Magic's coming up.
I will say, I was telling Malika, I made a little bit of a mistake in last week's Magic where I picked a color set that I was like, oh, this deck will probably be the most, like, complicated with the most text. It's got blue in it. It looks like it's that kind of combo deck. I'll give myself that, and I'll try to give you like a very straightforward red-white deck, and I'll try to give her a very straightforward green-black deck. Both of your decks were ultimately so much more advanced than the deck I was playing, and more complicated.
Yeah.
I had a very straightforward. I didn't even have counters in my deck. It was blue, but there were no counters, and I was like, man, I misjudged this situation, and I gave you guys the really tough stuff.
Those decks, are those pre-made?
Pre-made.
But, like, with a strategy synergy going on?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, that's the first time I've played where I was, like, really thinking about synergy strategies, and I was like, this all just works together.
Right,
and
because
I can
you didn't build it.
I can do this. Exactly. I didn't fuck anything up.
Yeah.
They didn't give me the option.
No, your deck had some really cool stuff. Her deck is fucking gnarly. That was probably my favorite commander deck I've seen yet. Just the constant shared abilities thing.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Was sick.
You had that one that was just like, you can just be everything that's out here. You all got it.
And this one is everything that's in your graveyard, and then you put that other card back out, and it copies everything that's currently on the battlefield, so you can be everything.
Right. It was
fucking wild.
interesting to not have the chance to look at the deck before I played. Mm-hmm. So as you're playing the deck, you're like,
you're learning about it.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
This is.
Hey, look at all those new emotes in the chat. We got a new Pride emote in the chat. Malika, why don't you tell them about the artist and the emote plan?
Really quick. Can you update me, please? It won't update.
I put auto.
Uh-oh.
It's not giving me the option.
It doesn't like me.
It's not giving me the option. I can get up and go check while Malika talks.
Okay.
We're talking about the overlay. It's not doing the update.
Yeah, it's not even giving me the option for a push.
Cool.
Go ahead, Malika. What were you going to say?
We have hired an artist. She's at Nabidot, Nabidott on Twitter, to redesign all our emotes. But because we're in the middle of Pride Month, I said, hey, can you kind of escalate this one first? So
she did that kaiju emote there, huh? Mm-hmm. Kaiju running with the rainbow flag.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yeah. It is pretty cute. It is cute.
Are those like little stick legs? I haven't seen this thing up close. Does he have like little baby legs?
I mean, he has cute little, Shiba Inu legs.
Yeah, I'm seeing it better now.
If you checked our work Slack, you could see.
Oh yeah, let me pull that up.
Damn, that was some high tier shade.
Guys, it's Monday, okay?
That
I'm
was some
plugging back into the no tiffs.
That's some Malika shade right there. If you checked the work Slack, you would have seen.
Maybe you would have put in your sandwich order a little earlier. No.
I mean, I'm going to eat it when I get here. It's whatever.
Damn, dude. No, I think the emote's great. And how many emotes are currently being worked on? 36 more?
Yeah, 36 more plus loyalty badges, which
Yeah.
I have to show you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
36 more emotes. We're going to have a whole new set of emotes hopefully
and
soon.
loyalty badges.
But I thought it was a good idea. Malika was on the right track to push to get that Pride emote out as quickly as possible. It looks great. It's really great. So, boom. Excite. So we have a lot to talk about today. There's so much going on. What'd you do, Adam?
I hate this thing.
What'd you do? All you have to do is replace what's on the top line. But if you drag it or move it around, you technically drag to an empty slot, and that's why I can't push it. I have to get back up again because you technically just turned on to a different slot. So I gotta go fix that really quick.
That's a level 4 hype train we're building up towards.
Oh,
what?
shit.
What?
Can we get it to level 5?
I don't know.
That comes after 4. See what you can do.
We'll see if they make it to level 4. Such strong support already. Thank you so much. I'm seeing a lot of different Pride emotes. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's smash that goal.
Smash that goal. Okay. All right. What are we going to talk about today? What's going
We
on?
have
What's
so
going on?
much stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
Get ready. Get strapped in for an extra special HyperCast because we have a lot to unpack. I guess I can unpack some of the things that I already put in the sub email earlier this morning. As you can see, there's a new HRPG Pride emote. But I'm cool to have that go on past
Well, of course.
Pride Month.
It's a great emote.
Yeah,
it's great.
Every month is Pride Month, all right?
I like that they're making Kaiju dance right now.
Yeah, it's
using their
cute.
channel points to flip them around.
Yeah.
I know somebody gave him a unicorn horn.
He's almost ready to take on the
Bullfighter?
The hateful bullfighters of the world with his happy rainbow flag.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went live today at 4-ish. Thank you for your patience.
Yes,
because
dealing with Spectrum internet.
Yep. Thank you. Was this for me? Thank you.
The fuck just happened? Anyway, dealing with Spectrum Internet. Sorry, everybody. We're supposed to go live at 3 p.m. today. We'll be live at 3 p.m. Pacific time the rest of this week.
Yep.
And going forward until we decide to change the schedule on you again. But we were supposed to go live at 3 today. Spectrum at the last minute changed their appointment from the morning to the afternoon. And then they were also 30 minutes overtime on they were supposed to be done. So, yeah, it was just, good times. I could go on and on about that, but you don't want to sit here and listen to me bitch about Spectrum.
No, I don't. And we have a new segment. So we're going to be going live with cooking at 3. Cooking is going to be for 2 hours. And then we're going to have a little bit of family dinner time. Because sometimes I make all this food and then people can't really sit and enjoy it.
Or while you're making it, people are like, I just ordered my food.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to eat my food, that's completely fine. I think it's people having to eat lunch while having to play Warhammer or something. That's
Hyper RPG's Twitter. I'm kind of bummed I didn't think ahead and load it into today's project. But if you head over to Hyper RPG's Twitter account, you can see the film that we all made together.
And I please ask you to watch it with your best headphones or headset because
there's some good bass in there.
It's kind of useless without audio, and I know the default is to look at things on your phone without audio. So. Please enjoy the audio. Alex Neat worked very hard on it. You have an amazing performance by Crank Gameplays. And a lot more. And then finally, I know this happened 2 weeks ago, but it's happening for real now, which is Lucas is the clubhouse leader.
Yes, it's Lucas's Clubhouse Week. Little Keebler Club.
I should have internet this weekend, so let's make it happen.
Boom.
Let's party.
Yeah, that's right. You spent all weekend moving, right?
Yeah, I was moving all weekend. Still don't have internet, but or AC or gas or trash cans.
Cool.
I fucking hate working with the City of Los Angeles Power and Water Department.
Oh,
they're a nightmare.
All services. And I think this is a universal thing that we can all relate to as human beings. And we probably have people watching who are technicians who do work for these departments and everything.
Yeah.
But there's still a universal understanding that waiting for the cable guy, waiting to get your electricity hooked up, it's one of the most frustratingly backward systems that you are completely at the mercy of them
And
on.
I have no problem with any technician they send out. It's these are awesome people doing their job and stuff. It's just all this departments and bureaucracy, and you just get lost in the system. Yeah, okay, let me rant. Here I go. All right. We called and they were supposed to send someone on Thursday to come turn on the gas. So we were moving in all weekend. We were like, okay, our air conditioner doesn't work. This is messed up. But maybe that's related to the gas not being like working. We couldn't get our stove and hot water working. So all weekend we're moving. It's hot. We got all the windows open. We're taking cold showers and stuff. And they were supposed to have turned it on Thursday. So we assumed that there was like a problem. So the landlord sent out like a gas repairman. Level 5.
No, level 4.
Oh, level 3.
Level 3 completed.
Oh, we're back to level 4. Anyway, they sent out a repairman who was like, oh, I can't make it this weekend or something, but I'll be there on Monday. And it's like, all right, we'll just take cold showers all weekend. So he got there this morning. He's like, your gas isn't turned on. You're going to need to take it up with the city power and water department. He's like, they said they came and turned it on. So anyway, they were like, okay, we'll send someone out immediately to turn it on. And that was at like 9 a.m. And my roommates texted me, and they're like, he hasn't showed up yet. But that was just the gas. Let me talk about the AC real quick. No, I don't want to. Okay, here's what happened this morning. First of all, they were like, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna send somebody out on Saturday morning to fix the AC. Can someone be there to meet them? So I got up at 8 a.m. because I don't know what fucking morning means to this person. I was like, can you clarify? And she didn't respond. So I went to my new house at 8 a.m. and I sat there until 1 p.m. and no one's calling me or anything. And I was like, I assume he's not coming. So I tried to call my landlord. I eventually texted her. She's like, oh, I thought you heard. He had an emergency. He can't be there till Monday. And I was like, what? Call a different fucking AC guy then. Like, what the hell? And she's like, has to be this guy. So anyway, he shows up this morning, and he's like, your AC doesn't work. It's probably the power. So he's like, I'm going to have you call an electrician. So an electrician comes out, and he's like, the wiring's fine. Call that AC guy. So the AC guy came back with the electrician, and they apparently got it on, and the compressor exploded. And that's where we are now. So they're like, we're gonna send you a new AC on Tuesday, and I'm like, are you gonna take fucking 3 days to install it and be like, call the electrician? I don't even know. The gas isn't on. There's no AC, and there's no garbage cans. And I swear, this sounds frustrating and annoying. This is just how it is anytime you move into a new place. I've done this like 4 fucking times. It's always like this.
Man,
Yikes.
Anyway, sorry about my ranting.
No, you're great.
Let's do HyperCast.
This is HyperCast. This is a part of HyperCast. Literally, they both were working on it, and then the compressor exploded.
Yeah, apparently the compressor exploded, and the AC guy talked to my roommates. He's like, in my 25 years, I've never seen anything like this. I was like, cool.
Thanks for choosing
where did
us.
We just moved? But
I'm more than a statistic now.
I have to go meet Spectrum between 8 and 9 a.m. tomorrow. So,
Oh, God.
Which means like 4 to 5.
yeah, we'll see what time he shows up.
Now, before we go any further, I do want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Skillshare, back again with another amazing opportunity for the Thumper community. I know I say this every month, and I know that we continue to live in these unprecedented times. It doesn't seem like we're going to know what's going to happen tomorrow, in a month, in a year from now, but I think a lot of us share that same frustration and that same buildup of energy, and we're trying to find a way creatively to kind of put that out there into the world. And I think Skillshare has so many amazing resources for people who want to learn how they can take all of that and create something beautiful and tell their own story. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, there is something on Skillshare for everyone. For me personally, I'm always looking for ways to try to maximize my time, and Thomas Frank, a creator who is on Skillshare and also on YouTube, has an amazing course on productivity and for you to find ways to really maximize every minute of your day and to use it in the most productive way possible. YC Imaging is another creator both on Skillshare and on YouTube who I follow that I absolutely love, and his amazing class on creating things on a shoestring budget is probably one of the most relevant things that you will come across today. We don't have unlimited resources right now. We don't have unlimited funding. A lot of us are unfortunately out of work, and I think right now is a perfect opportunity to take advantage of this amazing offer that Skillshare is giving us. For the first 1,000 people that go down into the description, click the link, you'll get premium Skillshare for up to 2 months for free. Outside of that, you can join Skillshare for less than $10 a month, and I think it's an incredible, incredible resource that will help you elevate your story, elevate your storytelling, and make you a better creator. So go out there, create, tell your story, and let's get back to the video.
Anyways.
Well, Lucas is having a tough old time.
Good time.
Yeah, a tough old time. Other things of note for this week on our schedule. And I think this will have to do with one of the bigger topics that we're probably going to be talking about today. I think sometimes here at Hyper, because we are so I don't want to say in a bubble, but we kind of are. We're in our own little world. We don't really fit into the tabletop world. We don't really fit into the Twitch world.
We're hyper focused on making our own content that serves you guys.
But we are still on Twitch, and we are still Twitch streamers. And we may not feature a lot of people, and we may not go to parties with a lot of these people or anything like that, but we know a lot of people professionally. And a lot of individuals who we know professionally kind of hit Twitter this weekend and shared their stories of abuse within the Twitch community, whether it was from working professionals or other streamers. Some of those individuals are people who appeared on this channel back in 2016, and we have unfollowed their accounts. They will not be working with us ever again, as kind of is our policy here at HyperRPG. But it was a very harrowing and sad fucking weekend, as all weekends have been lately. But the list just kept going, and women just kept coming forward and sharing their experiences, and my heart breaks, like, honestly, for all of them. I'm not, and Lucas said this too when he get here, it's like, the saddest part of this is not being surprised.
Yeah. It's like, it sucks. I hate to hear that anybody's going through that, but I'm just like, sounds about right. Fucking, yeah. That sounds right.
That seems like a problem too, because it's like, the fact that we're not surprised is like, okay, well, are we culpable in not helping this change?
Yeah.
Like, we should be surprised.
Right.
It should be like, oh my God, there's no way this could happen because there's proper tools in place to keep it from fucking happening. Mm-hmm. But there's not. And it doesn't, you know, I don't know. It's a lot. And I was trying to keep up with it as much as I could over the weekend for the company. You know, I don't want you to have to, you know.
I can't really opt out, you know?
I know.
And then also in this space as a woman in gaming, we have this, like, internal creeper list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all have to, like, protect each other on, like, who's a creeper, you know?
Yeah.
But we really should say who's a criminal, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a that opens up to a broader discussion because, you know, there are some things that came out this weekend that are criminal.
Yeah.
And there are some people who admitted to things where it's like, you kind of just admitted to rape. And you should turn yourself into the authorities.
Right, yeah.
You know? And there are other things that aren't criminal, but they're fucking awful.
They're disgusting.
They're disgusting.
Everything was disgusting that came out, yeah.
And the amount of, like, grooming from streamers to younger women and how many women shared similar stories of similar individuals. You know, and I know we talk about really heavy topics on here. I go back and forth on this stuff a lot in regards to how we should approach it at Hyper.
Because you have mango juice on your chin.
Nice.
Not so much in how we should deal with it, because I think internally we know how we deal with it. And we know that we're not going to fucking stand for it. I think it's more how we talk about it. And it's a very tricky thing, because I get conflicted often in that I don't ever want to feel like I'm protecting you because you are a very strong woman, person, individual, and I know you can fight your own battles. And then there's another part of me as your husband and your best friend that knows the trauma that you live with, and I would never want to inflict trauma on someone I care about. So then there's that part of me that's not like trying to protect you, but it's like I'll be the one. I'll do it. I'll handle the Twitter. You know, like I'll try to go through all this stuff, and I'll try to stay on top of this and deal with it, because I don't want you to have to.
Sure.
But then it also creates a larger conversation of, like, when we want to talk about these things, when we go about it, you know, making sure that we're doing it in a way that's proactive, because if you have some of these traumas, I'm sure there's other people in our community that do too.
I think we need to like recap what happened and what we're addressing from the top a little bit, because I think some people in our community who aren't following a lot of other Twitch streamers may not be aware of what's going on. However, it's escalated as far as even Twitch itself has put out a statement.
And that statement came under some very rightful fire.
I think you've probably done the most research about it, so why don't you take it from the top? Like, what happened?
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and just list off names.
Sure.
I put out a tweet with a link to a individual who is keeping a Medium article, and it was posted in our chat a little bit ago, with an ever-growing list of the women who are coming out with their stories. And
most of these women are women that work in the gaming industry, and many of them are content creators on Twitch.
Streamers, a large portion. Some are fans of streamers. And community members of streamers. Some are even mods of streamers sharing their stories of what they saw behind the scenes and how they left those communities because of these things. It's a lot. And I will say, Gaiaka just posted the Medium article in our chat room. If you are, trigger warning for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it's heavy.
So this
is fucking heavy. And it's a lot.
I like to use the term content warning.
Okay, content warning.
It is up to you if you want, how far you want to dig in reading about these sensitive topics and then reading about what happened, specifics.
Some of the stories that came out were very, like, putting me on the verge of tears, because I just can't even imagine being in that situation and then also sharing those stories.
Like, again, out of internet all weekend, so whenever I got in today, you guys were telling me this stuff, and it was all news to me because I was kind of unplugged from Twitter completely. But I still don't have a full grasp on what's going on. I'll do my research and such. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Knock something over up there, maybe.
Is that like my dog?
I think that they're probably fighting.
Say goodbye to a camera.
Something fell over.
Oh, no. And we're on Twitch, the platform right now, so it's kind of hard to criticize too deeply or without feeling pretty hypocritical about it. But I think that they've gotten better on some things that are like made me uncomfortable to see as a company. About 4 or 5 years ago, it was like often working with a partner rep was just a guy that would come out who was sort of like a fan. And it's like that can get that kind of business, the way that you deal with people like that can be very dangerous whenever you're working with.
I feel like that's an
individual streamers,
an unsaid thing that we. And like that's an issue that you, myself, other producers have talked about.
Yeah.
But we've never really talked about publicly.
Yeah, like partner reps on Twitch
making
are
us
just
uncomfortable.
Individual people.
Right.
And oftentimes they are fans of these content creators.
Yes.
And they're working remotely, they could be doing some things, and it sounds like people are probably talking about that, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Well, none of the stuff you're talking about right now has been brought up.
Okay.
And it might eventually.
Yeah.
As Twitch starts getting under fire. Most of it's been focused right now on the streamers and creators. A couple things have come out very unfavorable towards Twitch and how they've handled these things. No specific instances of Twitch employees that I've seen yet.
Yeah.
But I know definitely what you're talking about, and that we'd had discussions about it and situations where back then, and these people aren't even partner reps anymore.
Yeah,
but there were individuals
who we work with now. It's gotten way more professional.
Great, absolutely, you are correct.
I remember. I'll recall one specific instance of whenever we were still working at Geek and Sundry. I remember a partner rep coming, who represented us at the time. Or I think he did, or he represented somebody, but he was kind of networking with.
It wasn't you.
He was yeah. I don't think it was us actually,
it wasn't.
But he was somebody's rep, and he showed up and was sort of networking with all the people there that we had, because we used to have a lot of people coming through, and he was there for like a Friday night thing to sort of network. And I couldn't help but notice that he was only talking to the girls, and I was like, this is maybe a little icky, and I felt weird about it.
Yeah, and that's not that didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah,
and it was discussed.
Yeah,
but. This is like a whole separate,
This is different.
Yeah, larger.
I'm gonna have to read up on all of it.
I think the thing that disappointed me a lot was, okay, there's some big Twitch streamers who are a-holes.
Yes.
That I was less surprised about. But the stuff that really affected me was major brand reps, marketing directors, that type of person.
People that work for companies that we've been in contact
who
with.
Work for major companies in gaming that make, peripherals, do stuff with charities, even people that you would think are good human beings. Yeah. Not so much. So, and sadly, again, I wasn't surprised, but an extra level of disappointment because I even shared you a personal story where I wanted to approach a brand because I'm always hustling other brands to get money for HyperRPG. That's what I do. That's how I became CEO, y'all. But and this I went to this brand's booth at a convention. I think it was at PAX West, and he just did this kind of stroke under my ear, neck kind of thing. And then it's as a woman who unfortunately is so used to this shit, because all women are so used to this shit, you just do mental note ew, creeper, and just turn around and walk away and never
and then we're never
want to interact with that brand ever again, even though I like that brand's products. Their representative was gross.
Yeah.
And I specifically am kind of afraid to go to parties by myself to avoid all this stuff.
And that's to me, I think something I've always had a little bit of a problem with, and with Twitch, and I know they get called out for this stuff, and I hope people keep calling them out, is when you start to feel like the culture starts to support this stuff is, Twitch has always ran, I think, a very fine line of trying to be punk rock, the indie guy, and they get bought by Amazon and they start to grow up, and now they've got a lot of money, and they start throwing that money around to throw big parties and make partners feel special. But at the same time, you're starting to create this atmosphere of hierarchy that when you see it in action feels
it's
really
weird.
gross.
Yeah, it's weird.
To the point that sometimes at TwitchCon people will come up to you, and if they see you're an affiliate or a partner, they treat you differently. There's different lines for partners, affiliates, and guests.
Yeah, I get uncomfortable at TwitchCon whenever it's here's this party, and the partners are over here in their own VIP section, and we can literally see the affiliates and not partners right here, and then just you
and
see
that's
the
a sanctioned
divide.
event from
that.
Twitch. That's not a private event.
Yeah.
That's a Twitch. You're installing a culture that kind of creates this vibe of there's this hierarchy that you got to work your way to the top. And one of the most prevalent things that I saw in a lot of these women's statements and their fear of coming forward was the fear for their careers and being retaliated against and losing everything that they worked for. And I think Twitch has a lot to do with that. And I think Twitch could do a much better job in making people feel that you are protected and that there isn't this hierarchy that you have to climb that makes you have to give up your personal rights and your uncomfortability to make sure that you still have a chance to succeed. Because almost often this is a power thing where the men feel that they are in a place of power compared to the woman and assert themselves over them in that situation.
But in the world we live in, men do have power over the women.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And this is not something that's unique to just Twitch.
Yeah.
But
it's worse.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
But there's things that, when you start seeing all these different accounts of these streamers, and I know that YouTubers probably, this happens a lot too, and I've heard of it, but it's just you see all these streamers, Twitch is a unique thing. And we've talked about this before. And you have a platform where there's a closeness. We're having this conversation right now with couple hundred people, and there's a closeness here. And we do see you all as family, and some of you I know better than family, but you're not, and there's a boundary there, and there has to be, and it's a very tricky space to navigate, and I do think Twitch has to do a much better job of figuring that out as they've grown. And I'm sure there's a lot of people internally that are trying. I'm not going to sit here and paint every single person that works at Twitch as a bad person. I'm not going to, because we've talked with very aware people who are trying to make valuable changes.
Twitch has people of color employees, queer employees. We talk about, some of the issues and values of HyperRPG, and they're,
and they get it.
They get it.
Yeah. But psychologically as a whole, I feel like there has to be some discussions about when you work so hard to create an environment of engagement, comfortability, one-on-one time with individuals. You see this a lot with female streamers having to constantly put up these boundaries and walls with their male audiences, and like, because I kind of get it. You're getting personal with us. You were at our wedding, you know, like a lot of my family wasn't there, but you were, and there is a feeling of closeness there. But you have to keep a boundary, and I think there should be training there and walls. And that's a tough thing to say, too, because I don't want to start making excuses for these individuals. The most harrowing thing about these cases that most of these people are talking about was there were multiple women and that it's a pattern. And the second you see a pattern, it's like these are just fucking awful people. And I don't feel like it matters then what Twitch does. They could do more to protect the women, but as far as the men are concerned, these are awful people that have a pattern of abuse, and they would be abusing people outside of Twitch. You know, it's just like this is a platform that's making certain of those actions easier. But I feel like this needs such a deep discussion, and it's a hard one to talk about because it affects so many women and people in general,
and men too.
And it's a very hard thing to talk about in that regard as an ally, as a supporter, other than just, you know, it's like I don't want to get in a situation where we're just saying, like, I think that list is great and, you know, knowing who not to hire and who to give opportunities to. But that also doesn't feel like it's helping, you know, like it's just like, yeah, well, fuck that person.
Yeah, it doesn't stop the issue.
Yeah.
It stops that person. It doesn't change the culture.
I mean, I know you're saying it's like hard to talk about, and as like a kind of femme person over here, it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? And in some ways, it's not. I want to see more female leadership across the board, especially in all parts of gaming, game development, publishers, products, promoters, esports, teams, team leaders, companies, you know, stories, all that kind of stuff. And I think the more diversity that we have in gaming, a lot of the difficulties that happen because we don't have diversity, they're going to get smaller and smaller. Ultimately, there's always monsters in the world, but we shouldn't, as an industry, allow people to feel like, hey, you're safe here, because you're not, you know? And people are taking notes, you know, and go find somewhere else. Unfortunately, there are always going to be monsters in the world. That's why I'm very careful about using the word safe space here at HyperRPG, because sadly, I can't protect everybody in the world, even though I really, really want to. But in terms of, is it difficult? No. Don't be a fucking disgusting asshole.
Yeah.
Is that difficult? No. And if you are in a position of power, if you're those people's bosses, don't give them that platform. Don't let roaches hide underneath your rugs. Squash that shit. You know what? Own up to it. I know this is probably very hard right now because we have partners and friends that work at these companies that have been very decent people, and yet their coworkers are being called out right now. And what the fuck are they supposed to say?
A couple individuals I know left. One of the individuals who was called out for abusive behavior was a CEO of a marketing company that we've spoke to, and I have friends that work for that company, and you know they quit their jobs when this came out because it was the CEO, you know, and they're like, they're done, you know, and their lives will forever be changed too, and you know, from this, and a lot of the individuals who were repped by that talent agency left, and I want to rephrase when I say hard to talk about. I should rephrase it. It's hard for me to talk about in that I, like a lot of issues that happen with race and things like that, there's only so much I can talk about before I just need to shut up and ask somebody else what I should do to help. And talking about it only goes so far into regards of, fuck that guy, never working with that son of a bitch. You know, that's a piece of shit that's never going to be allowed to work with our company. And then it's like, well, that's not changing anything. Okay, so that guy goes and hides under a rock, and there's 20 other dudes that we don't know about that are over here still enabled to do things in this way.
Yeah, I want to, like, Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go on another rant, so you get it out.
I feel like there's just yeah, I mean, you can fire these people, but it's like, how do we stop the issue? And I'm always so, I don't want to say surprised. I'm just jaded about it to learn that there are so many people who have not been taught appropriate behavior in the workplace. And I don't know if it's that, if it's is it a they don't know what's inappropriate, or they've never been taught.
They know,
or
they would wear it in public.
Or is it just a sociopathic psychological power need or something like that?
It happens in DMs. It happens behind closed doors, which
so
always tells you they know that it's wrong.
They probably know, yeah. So how do we fix that?
I think it's on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's calling out this behavior that's wrong, and right now we really need to believe the victims. We need to support the victims.
Yeah.
It is so hard and so scary to come out with all this stuff, but women right now in this space have been amazing, because it just takes one person to be brave, and then another person that has been hiding this.
They're propping each other up right now.
And they're propping each other up, and you need to listen to them, to support them, and understand the patterns of behavior that lead to this nonsense. And additionally, we need to have deeper conversations as a society, as a community, on, empowering people to speak up when they're being victimized.
Yeah.
And to recognize that they're being victimized. So much of my life was, if something bad happens to me, it's my fault. Mm-hmm. Or it's not a big deal, or he's just an old guy. I made all these excuses for discussing people, and you know what? I think it's an isolated incident, and then they go do that to hundreds of other women, sometimes literally hundreds of other women, because when you're in this industry, you have access to that many people, And so, women need to be able to recognize when somebody is abusing their power, feel empowered to be able to say it, and to feel like their communities, their coworkers, their companies, their organizations, their universities, wherever the fuck they are, has their back. Because there is no reason for a woman to come out to slander somebody. They've done so many fucking studies.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So many studies.
If you are a person who's ever commented on something that says something along the lines of women make stuff up to ruin men's careers, fuck you.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
That's so fucking dumb. Any woman who has ever come forward has gotten tenfold the amount of bullshit on the internet. They know by saying it. They hold it in for years because they know the hurt. That's the thing. They're proving by holding it in how hard it is to talk about this shit because of bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like you said, it's like you want to get muted off Twitter to just be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. All these fucking assholes that show up on these threads and just repeating this shit. Like, oh, women make this shit up. Oh, they're just going after the clout.
What clout?
What clout?
Yeah.
How do you gain clout? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it's not like anybody's going around tossing out book deals to these people that are coming forward.
Who are living with trauma.
Yeah.
Read. Just read the women's, if you can. It's hard, but read what they're having to say, and you'll notice the pattern in even what they're saying. That they feel guilty. Yeah. They were afraid to say anything until now. Often these were people who had a position of power over them, and that those individuals used that against them. These patterns are they're patterns.
Yeah.
It's so fucking infuriating.
Yeah, I get really fucking peeved about people being like, why didn't you do this exact thing at this exact time? People saying that to people dealing with trauma, because we all deal with it differently, and no one has any. You should never be expected to act perfectly and rationally whenever you're dealing with trauma, and you should be able to handle it however you need to.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I think that's the most frustrating thing.
If you need time to figure out what to say, or you need time and you don't want to talk about it, then that's your goddamn right.
Well, I think also it's frustrating when people say when they say, why didn't you do this, that, or the other? There's no playbook.
Yeah. There's no right answer.
There's no playbook or right
and,
answer
like,
to how to like deal with this.
And it's putting all of that on that person. It's
Yeah.
like, why is it my fucking
why do
problem?
I have to fucking deal
There's
with
also
this?
a reason, like Malika said, this all happens at once and floods the gates because the women are holding this in, and the amount of people who speak up, and how many of their close friends right back up behind them, be like, proud of you. I know this was hard. Like, they knew. They just never had the courage to say it publicly. And it happens in a flood like this because they're all holding back and holding it in. And women are empowering each other right now in the community to tell their stories. And they finally feel like they have some protection. They finally feel like there's a community that will support them and believe them. But you still go to each of their posts and they're flooded with people just accusing them of clout chasing and making stuff up. And I just, and I want to be proactive with the power that I have and try to come up with ideas to help support
I think we could
changing the industry, you know?
I think we could have a deeper discussion about communication and boundaries, though, because, you know, we've had this conversation before about toxic masculinity, and, you know, there are people in our community who don't like that term, but right now there isn't anything that I know that kind of describes what I'm trying to talk about, in that, you know, many of us, we feel like we're nerds. I mean, I'm a nerd. You know, earlier today, Grammarly told me that 92% of my words are unusual, you know?
Maybe we could have told you that.
They're like, we don't even know what she's saying.
And so,
these aren't words.
And so if, you know, you grow up your whole life, however you identify, your, you know, gender-wise, that you're weird and awkward, and that really is a hit to your self-esteem. Yet if we put out messages and media, you know, we're content creators, right? That you are a loser because you don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Suddenly, if you're getting some attention from people who could be your girlfriend, or you want them to be your girlfriend, that's when it gets out of control. I think it is some deep societal stuff about power, about privilege, about feeling like, you know, internalizing your own self-hatred.
Dude, I know you and I talked about this a little bit over the weekend, in that, you know, I try to think back. I went through all of high school having no attention from women pretty much at all. And a couple times I did, it was usually like them pranking me or something, you know, like I was one of those nerds where somebody'd be like, you want to go on a date? Well, ha ha ha. I got dared to ask you, fuck you. I was that awkward guy, and then all of a sudden around the age of 17 or 18, women started to notice me, and I started to, and obviously I wanted them to notice me. And I had no fucking clue how to talk to women. I wasn't taught. I learned more from Lucas about how to talk to women when he was 5. And this is an honest-to-God truth. Lucas had confidence at 5 that I didn't have till 20. And I didn't help with that.
What happened? Oh, no, I used to be confident.
Do you remember how confident?
Yeah. I used to go up to girls and do the Chandler or the Joey thing from Friends. How you doing? When I was like 5 years old.
He would at restaurants be like asking waitresses for their number, and you know, it's like we laugh about it, but it's like we're not creating a little bit of a little asshole, are we? But luckily, Lucas understood. You know, even at a young age.
I knew I was being funny.
Yeah, and of course, almost always, because he was like 7, the women were like, "Yeah, I'll give you my number," and I'm like, what the fuck? But anyway, I had no positive examples, and Lucas and I grew up around so much toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it could honestly be considered, I think, a mental disease down there. It is fucking rough, the amount of toxic masculinity, and it's all around you. And even when you're weird, even when you are outside of that culture, it's still all you really see. It's all you are really exposed to, and how you are supposed to talk to women, how you are supposed to see women. And I feel very fortunate that my first year at a major college, I was housed with a bunch of other nerds in the music ship. And though there were people there who also had a lot of growing to do and made a lot of mistakes, there was a totally different vibe. And I had to kind of re-educate myself from 19 up and how to behave. and just throw years of conditioning out the fucking window because everything I learned was wrong. And I try to think back, like, I've probably said some terrible things at that age, not knowing how I'm supposed to behave. Things that my heart doesn't feel, but thinking I'm playing the game. This is how men and women communicate with each other. This is how the world's supposed to work. It's a game, which is, when you think about it, one of the dumbest fucking things ever.
Yeah.
And there has to be better tools in place to help us grow and discussions around these things. And, you know, streaming, like, I can't even imagine people we went to fucking school with having access to a camera and thousands of little young women followers at the ages of 18.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's dynamite.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
I
Like,
think there's got to be like an
It's
educating.
a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. They've never been taught how to not be toxic.
Yeah.
I was a terrible first boyfriend.
Yeah.
I was really bad.
Yeah.
And I purposely, my first girlfriend was when I was, how old were we, 19? And there's somebody I really liked for years and years, and we liked each other. And, like, her mom was extremely sick. My grandpa was extremely sick. It was not a good time in our life to be in a relationship, and we butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And our relationship both ways was, like, pretty toxic.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I went through those too.
Yeah.
And I think back, I'm like, who was I?
Yeah,
What is
we
that?
broke up when we were like 22, I think. And I was like, I'm not going to date anybody until I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I feel ready. And I didn't. I mean, Emily's my first girlfriend since that relationship.
Holy shit.
And I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about what it means to, like, be good in a relationship.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's reflected in our relationship. But yeah, I like purposely was like, you know what? I'm not going to put myself through this. I'm not going to put another person through this. I want to, like, remove myself from that and just, like, focus on me and my goals and my objectives in my life.
Yeah.
And, like, get older and become a better person to then feel comfortable being in a relationship where I'm like, oh, I'm calm, I'm collected. If I have a disagreement with someone, like, I'm not going to argue with them about it. I'm going to be, like, really cool about it, and we'll just talk it out.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that I can't even imagine being as dumb and impressionable as I was and having the kind of power some of these individuals have.
Yeah.
And what frustrates me more is, like, a lot of these individuals, though, they're like mid-30s and have families and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know,
there's a naivety of, like, I haven't really grown up yet, so maybe I don't quite understand the ramifications of having this kind of power and holding it over someone, or not holding it over someone, but, you know, it can be inappropriate behavior just to have power and talk to someone a certain way. You just don't do it. And I don't think people learn that quickly enough.
Yeah.
But there is a growing up of, like, after a certain point, there's no fucking excuse here. You're being gross.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's why it starts at a young age, because you guys are talking about, like, maybe being a shitty partner. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I had a healthy romantic relationship till I was like 24. And then I go back to shit. When I was in 7th grade, a boy grabbed my ass and I didn't know what to do, so I kicked him in the shins.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
nobody had a conversation. My mom, family members, teachers, like, they don't tell you what to do when you feel violated. So I kicked him in the shins.
Yeah.
But
You know,
at the same time, though, I wouldn't doubt that boy, because it's 7th grade.
Yeah.
Like, that's not predatory behavior. That's influential behavior.
Yes,
that's somebody
exactly. They watched it in a
influencing that.
movie
Yeah,
or
that's someone
some shit.
influencing that kid to be like, this is how I
The movie
show.
said it was okay.
This is how I flirt with women.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to this girl, and this is how I'm gonna. And there's just so much
Or somebody's
shit.
weird fucking uncle being like, you gotta slap him in the butt.
Or, you know, when you have a president who's like, just grab
Yeah.
him by the pussy, how many little
We're-
boys
we're
are like,
hearing this.
okay?
I guess I will.
We're hearing this from our most
Commander-in-chief.
influential person in our
Most
country.
influential person in the country uses language like that. And again, this is like the from a personal standpoint. And it's like, this is the challenge. Like, this stuff gets me really, really worked up. And it gets me worked up to a point that I realize that I'm just making my wife, who I love so much, relive trauma. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I love you. I hate seeing you sad. I hate putting you in a position where I'm like, motherfucker, God! And it's just making you have to, you know, like, I want us to, like, hit this shit head first. and I want to do it in a way that doesn't make other people feel sad.
I mean, I'm already sad, so.
Oh no.
You're the one who told me last night. I'm like stress scrolling my news feed. I was probably because I had it in my head, like I got to weed out all the abusers out of my timeline.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought you were like possessed by a demon. Literally,
Yeah.
4:45 a.m. I know because I didn't go back to sleep. 4:45 a.m. I wake up to. I'm a super, super light sleeper. So just like the
And
light.
I sleep like a rock.
Like a rock. Just the light of a phone screen is enough to wake me up. So like,
Jeez.
I wake up to this light from the screen and I look over, and Malika, her phone is technically open, but it's just like on her settings page, and she's doing that thing where she scrolls with her thumb, but the phone is being held to her right, and her face is just looking forward blankly, not at her phone, and she's just doing this. And it's just like going up and down on her phone. And I'm like, are you okay? And she puts her phone down. What? I was like, are you okay? You're on your phone. No, I'm not. Why'd you wake me up? Oh, fuck. Malika's possessed. What's happening? There's a demon in the house.
I'm moving out.
I think Osmosis called it correctly. Doom scrolling. I
Yeah.
never heard that one, but yeah, that's what I was doing.
Doom
That's
scrolling.
what I was doing. That was
a
what I
great
was
term.
doing.
Just doom scrolling.
Just
That's just Twitter, though.
Yeah.
If you're on Twitter, you're doom scrolling.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
I
just
mean,
Twitter
In
in general.
2020, it's doom scrolling.
what did I call it? Hit and run tragedies. Oh shit, where'd it go?
But
Oh.
Yeah.
but when I say it's hard to talk about, what I'm trying to say is like it is hard to talk about because people I love and care for, not just you, my friends. So many of my friends posted this weekend. People I respect so much
People
that I think
we
are
love
amazing
and respect,
creators
yeah.
and people that we've worked with are making their posts, and I'm like, I want to talk about this, but I don't want to like force people to relive that trauma over and over again. And so it's like wanting to find a way forward, but not just making people sit in this and just be constantly reminded
But like,
about how shitty the situation
you
is.
know, look, I'm not a therapist, but I'm trying to learn myself on how to like support other people better.
Yeah.
And just asking people, you know, what do you want to happen? You know, what do you want to happen? That's an amazing
But I'm not
question
even talking
we don't
about
even
that.
ask.
I'm talking about using our platform.
Yeah.
I would never like bring that shit into someone else's timeline. I mean more even from our own, because I know that they follow, or like in your instance, you live here. You're our CEO. These things are traumatic to be constantly having to see all this shit. So like being able to use our platform to influence and discuss and push forward the right thing without subjecting all the people in our community, you, our friends, to constantly having to relive that shit, you know, that circle. So that's the struggle, I say, with like trying to talk about it and like finding the right way to express that anger and want the change, but not create a circle in that conversation.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
What do you guys want to happen? I'm asking you guys in the chat room. I want to hear from you guys too. This is a two-way conversation.
It is. And I know. It's like so many people in this country are abused. The percentages, the stats are there. There's a large percentage that are probably victims in our chat room. Ugh. I'll never forget in college, which it wasn't college until I ever had to learn anything about what women go through, even the slightest bit, you know?
That's why it's like,
And
talk to your children.
yeah,
You
but
know?
you know, like I could see how hard my mom had to work, harder than everyone else, you know, like to be heard. But at the same time, like she's surrounded by, you know, a very particular way of thinking, and she's afraid to speak up about certain things. But like going to college and like the very first time I hear that, what was it, like 1 in 3 women have been sexually assaulted, you know, and you're just like,
I think for rape, it's like 1 or 4 and 1 out
One
of
in-
5.
1 in 4.
Yeah, 1 in 4, yeah.
I think.
and
1 out of 4, 1 out of 5, yeah.
that in and of itself,
It's so hard to measure, though, because of the reporting rates
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Mhm.
that in and of itself floored me. And
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first time I heard that and being like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Like, you personally know many survivors of rape.
Yeah.
Many.
And as a RA in college for 3 years, that's the reason I had to go through that training. Like, I had to go through training and how to deal with it and talk to the women and the men on the floor and how to try to create a safe environment. And oh fuck, was college just like a disaster zone and a hotbed of fuckery and awfulness. And saw a lot of shit. I had to deal with a lot of shit and be that kind of first responder for a lot of people that were going through that hurt. And the thing I'm trying to say is like I couldn't believe how ignorant I was.
Yeah.
Just how absolutely ignorant I was to the pain so many people were feeling.
I mean, I felt that way. You know, I was telling you about it when I was a college freshman, and a professor made me feel uncomfortable, which is very, 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 very common. And apparently that professor was kicked out of his former university for making other people feel uncomfortable because he was doing weird shit. And being upset that I didn't know I had rights in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, because I felt like I had to go home and cry in a pillow, and that's just what your life. That's what life is.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, luckily the dean of my college within my university believed me. Believing the victim is so powerful, so important. And sometimes we get all bent out of shape because we want to defeat racism and sexism and rape and abuse and all these horrible things that will happen in the world forever and ever and ever, and war and all these things, you know?
Yeah.
But there are some basic things you can do that are making the small changes that will stack on top of each other that will change the world. I really, truly believe in that shit, you know? And it's just believing the victims, talking to younger children, boys and girls. They need to know about their rights. They need to know about healthy communication. They need to know about boundaries, stuff they should teach in schools. Sure, you know, people are like, well, why aren't the parents teaching? Sometimes kids don't have parents like that, you know?
Yeah. And even when you have good parents that want to teach you the right ways, there's just certain things that, like, they're ignorant to. Because it's not stuff that our society puts on display and talks about. I bet my parents didn't know those stats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You speak about training. I actually believe a lot into it. At bigger organizations, the state mandates that you have to have sexual harassment training, etc. I was sexually harassed in graduate school, and I escalated it in university, in the university system, and I was upset that all graduate students did not have to go through sexual harassment training. Additionally, smaller companies are not mandated to require sexual harassment training, right? And so I learned the hard way as a freelancer in the games industry to not work at smaller studios because those employees didn't necessarily have to go for sexual harassment training, and that I would have to fend for myself. You know, if people wanted to touch me, wanted to say things about me, wanted to verbally undress me, very, very violating kinds of things. And, you know, many of these people who are in the industry who came out as abusers, they're freelancers.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go through that kind of training in school, college, university.
But I mean, in a system like Twitch, there's no way Twitch could ever mandate that its streamers go through training.
No.
These people work out of their homes all over the world.
They're freelancers.
They're freelancers. They're going to, you know, I think, I don't know. Like when I said I want to be proactive, and it's like one of the things that I don't think Twitch should do, I don't think Twitch should have VIP parties with alcohol. I just don't think they should. And I don't want to sit here and act like alcohol is the only reason men do these things, because I don't think that's true.
No.
But I think it creates a culture around, like I said, just like creating this hierarchy at every step and then supporting that hierarchy at public functions validates these men in the power that they feel they have. I don't think that a company that is supporting these concepts and trying to make people equal and have their voices heard and all these things, I think they need to come up with better ways to make everyone feel together instead of a giant party in a really tight space with thousands of people crammed together
hear each
where
other.
you can't keep a good track on the drinks. I mean, let's not forget 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they had their TwitchCon party.
Well, with the
and
open drinks
there was
everywhere.
the open drink area where it was just like
Cups of alcoholic beverages.
just cups of beer for people to pick up that no one was guarding. It was just on a table, and someone got roofied that night. And
I remember the San Diego one. This is like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
A while ago. And I remember there was like a partner area that I remember was like roped off, and we got. I don't remember if we were supposed to be in there, but we got in there. I brought a friend of mine, and it was the wildest thing because we're standing there and we walk up to the bar and we're like, can we get something? They're like, oh yeah, just take whatever you want. And it was just like wine glass and beer and wine glass and beer and wine, like everywhere. And I'm like, man, this is like too easy for someone to be able to just like pick up drinks and go.
Yes, and I know that they've started to implement changes, but at the same time, it's like you're trying to act like this cool punk rock kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, let's fucking party.
It's too high school.
Yeah, it's like, let's fucking party. And it's like at the same time, you're wanting to be fucking Amazon and you're wanting to create a space that supports all these individuals. Like, you know, find a different way to have fun instead of putting yourself in situations where you're supporting this idea of like, let's get fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand that cons in general are notorious around the country for having this idea of like people go to the cons and they're going to party their
look
ass
at
off.
Comic-Con.
And
like Comic-Con is like all about getting into Hall H and going to the
big
parties.
Yeah.
And last year we pretty much like opted out of those things. We ended up going to like a completely different part of San Diego with like Matt and Lucas, and you know, we were just like, no, we don't want to.
But again,
do
like
that.
I'm also old as fuck, and I've never been a partier, so it's hard for it's.
Well,
I understand that
we
it's
don't even
easy.
get into a lot of those.
Yeah, it's like
I
fuck
mean,
it.
and like I am. It could also be because I'm 33 now. I'm kind of like not interested in those things anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
but I feel like
it's
you're putting a bunch
exhausting.
of fucking 20 to 21-year-old kids or 21-year-old kids.
Well, sometimes they're younger than that. And they get
Yeah,
in.
but it's just like you're just flooding them in this space.
You need to. They need.
And you're creating a culture.
Yeah. They need to. Who knows if they'll ever do this? But I think they really need to restrict how much free alcohol they offer people. You know, like have a 2-drink max at each thing that you go
Yeah,
to.
but then people give their tickets to other people.
Oh, for sure.
And
But even then, it's like I don't know if that would change because I feel like I've seen that happen recently. And we go to so few of these that we mainly just hear through stories of people who are like, I went, this happened, it was fucked up, it was crazy. We don't go to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I would love other functions and other options, you know, like an ice cream social. Buy us all fucking ice cream.
There was that other brand that had the massage chairs. That was pretty
you know,
nice.
I think also like those parties to me, I always got the impression when I first started going professionally to cons that like they were meant to be social events.
Right.
And
it's like a way to talk to people you haven't
and
met.
meet people.
Yeah.
But man, 95% of those people are so trash.
Yeah.
There's no social like.
Yeah.
You're not having a
But
conversation.
that's still how a lot of the industry works. And there's
I
been
know.
whole discussions about this where if you're not a party or a drinking individual, like you get left out of those conversations.
Yeah, because like, oh, they're not
going.
fun.
You're not going through the paces.
Right.
Which we've always kind of like been on the counter side of, and
Yeah.
you can make it regardless, but it is much quicker to create those bonds and friendships earlier. But at the same time, like it's just all about the culture you want to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really want to create a culture that isn't continually putting these men in positions to abuse these women, stop giving them the option and create tools that can actually help protect the women in these situations. And I know some of them you can't, like a lot of the stuff happens on Snapchat, it happens on Instagram. They find them in their chat room and then they eventually get them into their private Snapchats and things like that. And it happens off platform. But a lot of this stuff happens at cons though. And a lot of the stories are like from cons, and cons are notoriously bad for protecting.
Can I just say, I hate it when people DM me.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it so much that I start ignoring DMs, and I hate doing that too. So I tell people like, just tweet me, just like tweet me. So it's like, you know,
Out
so
in the
everyone
open?
can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like it, and I close them off. But you know, like on Instagram, they have like a tab that's like requests, and I have like over 40, and I'm like, no, I don't want to answer them. Very rarely do I do. If it's someone that like I've met personally before, then I'll respond. But usually I'm just like, man, I wish there was like no DMs on social media.
I mean, I have DMs open, and a lot of people,
I do too.
they DM me, hi, which sounds friendly and harmless, and I'm like, no.
But it's not. It's an open invitation to try to create a dialogue.
No, it's like, I'm like, yo, this is a recipe for harassment.
Yeah.
But, students reach out to me a lot because I have a reputation for mentoring people and stuff. That's fine. Especially, like people of color, women in gaming, stuff like that. I love
That's why I have my
DMs.
email public and like you can tweet me publicly and all that stuff. Or like I'll do Q&A things on Instagram and I'll just like publicly respond to those things.
I don't personally mind it because it's hard for me to respond to people just out of being busy, but I try to when I can. But I do get a lot of random DMs that are very clearly bait or somebody just trying to be like,
oh, those I just like completely, I just delete them.
Yeah. Please engage. You
Yeah.
got a question about an RPG or a production?
If it's like
we'll
a
talk.
specific question like that, then
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
usually respond. But if it's something that like I'm not sure where they're trying to like lead me to, I'm like,
Yeah, I want to know from the start, where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to start a conversation with you if all you said is hello.
yeah. But if
Now-
it's something that's like very specific of like, hey, I'm looking for this particular thing, or I noticed you have this headset, then I'm like, okay, that's like, I know exactly what this person's asking of me.
I'd love to see like a change that I would like to see is these representatives that they represent a company and they have to go out and seek talent. I think that they can be pretty problematic.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those conversations not happen on social media. Maybe you started on social media to get the email address or whatever, but then I'd love to see it, primarily happen via email with a supervisor CC'd. So, because I don't
Never
think,
direct.
Yeah, I would love it if there's more than one person in the room, so these guys can't be like predatory. But that does not fix the overall issue of what they're feeling inside. And their belief that they can do that kind of thing.
But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people do stuff because they know they can get away with it or they believe they can.
Yeah.
And if we keep calling it out and we change these tools and we put it out in the open, people will be forced to not do that shit.
Yeah.
Like even if it's out of fear and they're still deep down terrible people, at least they're not hurting anyone.
Right.
Because that's the goal there, as making sure people aren't getting hurt. But a lot of this is a roundabout way to get to the discussion of our schedule this week.
Yeah.
Which a lot of individuals who believe Twitch is not taking this stuff serious enough. And you can dive deep into all the messages. I don't want to go too deep into it here, but Twitch kind of got put on blast as well for not responding to some of these things properly, having these things brought up to VPs and the CEO himself, and the CEO not taking it seriously, and people who don't work at Twitch anymore coming forward with their own accounts of how these things were taken seriously, and issues of nepotism and things like that. So a lot of times when Twitch puts out these statements, it kind of falls on deaf ears because it feels like we've heard it all before. You're still not taking these things seriously. And so quite a few people have been organizing for Blackout Wednesday, which would be not streaming on Twitch Wednesday, to try to get Twitch to take this shit seriously. And we talked about it internally, and I think we're going to participate and not stream Wednesday, but we will stream on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we will go on an adventure, and you can still support us outside of Twitch. You don't have to support us through subs and bits. You can when you go to Streamlabs, that's not owned by Twitch. When you tip to us, that's through PayPal, not Twitch. So there are ways you could still support us on Wednesday. So I would say follow us on Instagram, and we're going to do a special stream looking for our RV for our big road trip that we've been talking about. So we might go out to an old RV place and do an Instagram live from there as we check out certain models and stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun, but we will not be streaming on Twitch on Wednesday to support Blackout Wednesday. And it's tough because I agree with the sentiment, and I agree with why people want it to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll work.
I feel like it's very important to show solidarity in this time. When I put myself out there in a vulnerable position, when people have shown support, that felt really, really good, even if it didn't create immediate, huge systemic change.
Yeah.
I thought it was very important. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think my part is messaging our rep, talking to the people internally that we know. I think that will causing that kind of headache for them will do more. Unless some major streamers take part in this, it won't even be a blip on their radar.
But
It just won't,
you
because
know-
they pull in so much traffic per day, and this is a worldwide platform. It's not just the United States where a majority of these problems are happening. It's not just English speakers, you know.
Yeah.
And it would just have to be a massive blackout on Twitch for it to actually make someone at Twitch be like, fuck, we lost this much money. Fuck. And because that's the goal. And I'm only talking about it because that's what the intended goal was.
Right.
Hit them in their pocketbook so they'll pay attention.
Right.
If the intended goal was stated just as to show a sign of solidarity, then I'm like, you'll get that 100%.
Sure.
But the goal being to hit them in their pocketbook, I don't think you will.
I mean, look, most of the environmental pollution that happens right now is big corporations. That doesn't keep me from putting, like, these cans in the recycling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I'm saying we should do it. I'm just like, I don't want to act like we're changing the world by doing it.
Yeah.
I think there's other things we'll be doing behind the scenes
Yeah,
that
but
will be
haven't
more
you
impactful.
heard one drop raises the sea, Zach?
Not the way Twitch works. The whole platform in and of itself is built where when we're offline, take for instance, if we didn't stream today, a majority of you watching are still going to be on the platform, and you'll go watch other people. And that's what will happen. A lot of people won't stream, but the people who came to Twitch, they're going to watch someone else that they follow.
Yeah.
And the view, you know, it's like at the end of the day, unless everyone does it.
It's not changing much.
Yeah, but I completely agree in doing it in solidarity and showing support because I do think Twitch needs to take action. And it's tough to say that because I don't know what the fuck Twitch can do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's easy for me to sit here and say, Twitch, do something. But outside of like, banning all these individuals and kicking them off your platform, step one. Step two, I'm not smart enough to know. I can theorize. I can sit here and bitch about it and argue about it. I don't fucking know. I feel like these are big issues that require so much work. And it needs to be somebody's full-time fucking job to figure it out.
Like a whole department of people.
Yeah, and I'm sure they have some of that. I'm sure they do. And like I said, especially seeing some of the ex-Twitch employees come out, there's very clearly people on the inside that want action, that want things to happen, want things to be taken more seriously. You know? But at the end of the day, if Emmett don't think it's a big deal, what the fuck are you going to do? He's the boss. And I don't, I wish Hyper was big enough that we could be like, hey, fuck you, Emmett. We don't like how you handled this, and we're not going to stream today. And I'll be like, fuck, man, I'm going to lose a shit ton of money. But, yeah, it ain't how it works.
We're gonna move over to Mixer.
Speaking of.
Exactly what I was going to say. So, Mixer no more.
Yeah. Talk about right when people are trying to organize, like, everyone, Blackout, Twitch. Mixer's like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Everybody flood Twitch. Let's go back to signing up on Twitch because ain't nobody fucking going over to Facebook Gaming. So everybody just reactivate your Twitch accounts. Give Twitch all that traffic.
So Mixer is kind of like the Microsoft version of gaming live streaming. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Microsoft version of Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It never grew to be as big as Twitch. It came a little bit later. They were doing some cool stuff. I actually worked on a...
I mean, you can say, like, yeah, they never got as big, but they did spend $30 million on Ninja and $10 million on Shroud.
Microsoft money.
I helped organize some women in gaming events with the Microsoft team over at Mixer. That was a small team, of course. But... we had some friends who jumped ship from Twitch to Mixer, and now they're probably hating what they did.
Yeah.
I
mean, the thing that worries me the most is I have the most problems with Facebook. The most.
Yeah. So if you haven't heard...
A lot of people are trying to theorize that Mixer did this because they just recently got called out for some shit internally. But... there's no way. Like, these deals take so long. They've probably been talking to people on the back end for fucking months. for months about this. Just good timing for the second they get under heat. Oh, by the way, not our problem anymore. Talk to Facebook. Fucking shit, man. I have so many issues with Facebook though, and how they've treated my friends, and I can't break NDAs for them, but I can say that like
NG, not good.
And the thing I like the most about Mixer is Twitch needed competition.
Yeah.
Twitch needed a competitor
To keep them on
taking
their
people
toes.
like Ninja and Shroud
Yeah.
to help make them a better company. I don't like this idea of their biggest competitor, which wasn't even really that big of a competitor. I guess YouTube Gaming is still their biggest competitor, but one of their bigger competitors just disappearing is not good. Not good.
I mean, it felt very sudden, out of nowhere for people not in the know, right? I was shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well, I
heard-
mean, the people who worked there were shocked.
Yeah.
People who worked there came out on Reddit and were like saying stuff like, I knew just when you did, or the night before you did. Like, they didn't tell people in those departments till the night before that, oh, by the way, tomorrow we're announcing that.
On a Sunday, no less.
Yeah, dude. Fuck. Fuck. That's brutal.
I think I spent about 5 minutes on Mixer, so I don't know anything about it.
It
other
had some
than-
good ideas.
One of the advantages was with Mixer, once you went to your Xbox homepage, it would push like the front page of Mixer to it, which, made sense because
Yeah.
it's like, why is it going to promote Twitch,
Something
from
else, yeah.
another competitor company? So that was pretty cool.
They
And-
also made it really easy for people to stream from a console.
Yeah.
You could stream from your Xbox directly to Mixer very easily.
Some of the like women in gaming stuff, they were a little bit on it, a little bit more in terms of stricter community guidelines and stuff. Some people praise them for that.
Yeah.
If you are part of certain games like the Minecraft community, because it's a Microsoft game, it kind of integrated very well. There was some things, some interesting things. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. I feel like we're right now trying to hold Twitch accountable for some fucked up stuff that happens on their platform, and then Mixer announces this, and it's gonna it will brush a lot of that Twitch stuff under the rug.
Yes, that's what I was frustrated about. Adam and I were looking at what's trending right now, and then it's like Mixer going away, Ninja and Shroud made a lot of money, and then the fact that, we need to hold Twitch accountable is kind of on the bottom.
Yeah, it'll
of all
cloudy that up,
stuff.
and also they will get a ton of new signups from it. They just
Yeah.
will. A lot of creators are not going to jump over to Facebook Gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, overall today, and you can't time it, but overall today there's just been so many things going on in tech and entertainment that I couldn't even find it. I had to manually search for it. I couldn't even find it on any of my tabs. Not trending, not news, not entertainment, nowhere.
Yeah.
Because there were just so many other things going on today. Whether it was Ninja,
what, dude?
WWDC,
There's nothing going on in the world.
whatever other bullshit political things are happening with our incompetent president.
We had our Batman actor. He passed away. So.
Yeah.
Actor?
Batman
You mean
actor.
the
Director.
Director.
Oh, Joel Schumacher, yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, Joel Schumacher passed away. I didn't realize he was 80, which
Yeah.
means he was pretty old when he made those Batman movies, because they're 25 years old. So he was up there. I didn't realize it, but Joel Schumacher made a lot of other stuff outside of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. But I think that's what people nowadays probably know him most for. But St. Elmo's Fire, The Lost Boys, The Client, tons of other stuff.
Megan Fox came out and called out some kind of sexual harassment.
Well,
That,
Yeah.
that does not.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that really frustrates me about the
Surprise
Megan
me.
Fox stuff is you hit the nail on the head when it's everyone knew.
Yeah.
We all fucking knew.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this story about her fucking washing Michael Bay's car.
Yeah.
In a
I
bathing
didn't know
suit.
about that until.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I remember that hitting the news back in 2010, and it being a big discussion, but
The only news I remember was when she didn't come back for Transformers 3. Sometime before or after it was the article where he basically talked so negatively about her. And I think everybody looked at that and was like, there's no way this person can be that bad
Yeah.
to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Bay came to our VFX studio once when we were working on Transformers 3. And he was on his way. The only reason he stopped by was because he was on his way to the Super Bowl. And it was we were on the way. So that was the only reason. And he was like, I don't want to waste too much time because I know we need to be working on the movie. And I'm like, oh, you're one of those people. Okay, cool.
Hey, don't let me distract you from that project I'm paying you no money to be working on right
pretty
now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's sad that like her career. Granted, I will also admit, like, I don't seek out Megan Fox's work. The last thing I saw her in was the Turtles
Well, she took
movies.
a long break.
Well,
Yeah.
also, she's a Florida girl, so I seek out her work. Yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, like, I feel bad that she's been except for Jennifer's Body, a lot of the things that she's been in has been, like, not good.
Yeah.
And at a certain
Which is
point,
nobody's fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at a certain point, I'm like, man, I want to see this actor be given something really good.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to be an actor who's only known as being like a very stereotype or this thing in this movie for this director.
Yeah.
Like, I think as an actor, you want to be able to have more opportunities. And like Shia LaBeouf got that.
Yeah.
Megan Fox has never had that. It would be nice to see that.
Also, there are some new hotspots for the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic's going
Yeah.
crazy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to, my brain is so foggy. I'm trying to order a coffee, and I've been trying for an hour, and I can't even complete this damn thing. Yeah, pandemic is fucking...
We have like nearly a quarter of the worldwide deaths
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I jokingly put on the thing, week infinity of camp social distance. My family knows that I work for a living. Why do they always call me throughout the day?
Because they love you.
I work. I work. God damn it. I put week infinity of camp social distance, and like it really feels like it.
Yeah.
It
does.
We're 4 months into this ish.
It's not going anywhere, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that frustrates me the most is to see people complaining about masks, see people complaining about social distancing, how they want to get the economy started again. And it's like, the more if you all just fucking did what you were supposed to do, the quicker things could go back to normal. But because you're not, this shit's going to fucking go on all year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting back to normal. We haven't even got out of the first wave yet.
No, and it's going to happen again in a couple months.
Now there's research coming out that they don't even know if the antibodies last.
Yeah, I read that.
There's a new report coming out. They think the antibodies might only last 3 to 4 months, and you can get sick again.
Yeah.
Fucking great. Fucking great.
I mean, yeah, you shouldn't expect the antibodies to last. The little dude's probably evolving.
It's
No virus wants to stay the same forever.
God. We got to get this
that's how you
fucking
get rid of a
moron.
virus.
We got to get this fucking moron out of the White House. It's like the fucking damage he has done by convincing people you don't have to wear masks.
Yeah.
Like, he made it political. Instead
know.
of just following CDC guidelines as they came up.
Well, and then all this stuff happened with like AMC and Cinemark and all these theaters that were like, we're not going to make it political, so we're not going to require people to wear masks.
I can't.
And they're like, no, you did the exact opposite thing.
Yeah.
You just made it political. And then within 24 hours, they were like, we're going to require masks. And I'm like, that's how you should have just started in the first place.
We care. We care so hard.
Yeah,
now.
and I'm just like, you fucking fools.
We just hope everyone's safe now.
And
now that you said that we were being bad.
Exactly. And it's one of those things like, you said you did this and you said this, and like I'm also still not at a point where I'm like,
Fuck AMC.
well, it's like
Fuck them
do
theaters.
you really think I'm going to go see Tenet next month at the end of July?
No
like,
way.
I desperately want to go back to a movie theater. I really want to see Tenet.
Yeah.
I doubt I'm going to be in a place where I'm like, I feel good about this.
No.
No matter how much they say, like, we're going to turn away people, or actually they're not checking people's temperatures when you go to the theater.
Let's just do the drive-in theater. Figure out a drive-in
Right?
route for this.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm just
I don't know.
surprised that they didn't use some dumb excuse like, oh, we sell concessions. People, can't cover their mouth. But no, they were like, hey, we don't want to get political. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't know.
This stuff is like, and it's infuriating because I feel like the news doesn't know how to talk about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Our president just makes this harder and harder and harder to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the whole thing frustrates me so much. all of us are feeling, I feel like it's just this constant barrage of anxiety, and we're not alone in it. I feel like the whole country's feeling it. You know, we're all together in that feeling of anxiety and stress about how the fuck do we move forward. And we need leadership. We need fucking leadership in this country so bad.
Hi, it's your CEO here. My name is Malika. I heard a couple interesting studies today because I'm a nerd about wearing sunscreen and stuff. I heard that 39% of like young people in this country are so concerned about washing their hands and the virus that they're not putting on their sunscreen. So I just want to say, make sure you wear your sunscreen. Make sure you get your vitamin D, you know, but like wear your sunscreen. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. I also heard that if you have a decrease in kind of healthy activities like exercising, or if you like kind of stopped exercising or exercise less because you're stressed out, you can't get out.
Yeah.
It can affect your health decisions for the next 2 months. So you know, still like take care of yourselves and like brush your teeth, floss your teeth, wear your sunscreen, eat 3 meals a day, exercise, love yourself, drink some water. I really care about you. Please take care of yourself.
I'd like to recommend a product that I use for sunscreen. I recommend the Olay Total Effects Face Moisturizer 7-in-1. It has SPF 30. It's a moisturizer. Let me see all the 7 things it is. I want to know what all 7.
Not a sponsor.
I use it every single day.
Not a sponsor for
we are
this show.
not sponsored. I use it every single day. You should start your day.
But if you're listening,
Use you a
Olay!
nice, gentle scrub, a nice foaming cleanser. Then use you a little chemical exfoliant, and then finish with your 7-in-1 moisturizer. I'm telling you, it'll change your skin forever. Your skin will be hydrated.
That's why you look 5 years younger.
You'll be protected from the sun.
Oh, wait, you are 5 years younger.
I'm exactly 5 years younger than you. Anyway, you should use Olay 7-in-1. It's great. It's a great SPF.
Apple did their WWDC event today, and they actually announced that the new version of iOS, when you wash your hands, it'll actually it'll recognize that you're washing your hands, and it'll start doing a countdown on your watch to let you know of how long you should wash them. And if you stop before that, it says, no, keep going. And it just like all the way, it's like 30 seconds long or something.
I wanted
like
to
that.
insult me, like, you disgusting SOB.
Yeah.
You uncultured swine.
You little.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that they're adding features like that.
I heard that the newer versions of iOS, I haven't gotten it to work on my phone yet, recognizes Face ID with the mask on. That's what I'm excited about.
Oh, that would be great because my phone, whenever I go shopping and I want to use my Apple Pay, it won't do it unless I do this. Pull the mask down, and I hate doing that in the store.
Or you have to put your PIN code in or something.
Yeah, which would be. I hope it does that. Yeah, but I don't know when the iOS is supposed to launch. I don't think they gave a date. But some pretty cool new features. I thought that was a good one.
And I know a few of you guys are super duper Gen Con fans and are probably sad that that's not happening this year, but grateful because that was the right choice. And we are working with Gen Con to do maybe some official showing stuff.
yeah, we'll see what comes up there. And you recorded a podcast this weekend for Comic-Con, right?
Yeah, I did. I was on a special storytelling panel for SDCC Online, and it will come out during SDCC Online, July 26th.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit early. I think it's like the week
So
of.
they're doing SDCC like online this year?
That's one thing I will point out about the WWDC event. I feel like they really set the standard for what those like live stream events should be. It was incredibly well put together.
What was?
The Apple event today.
Oh, really?
It was incredibly well put together. I almost like hope they never go back to those live events because I think those live events, I get why they do them. They are so fucking awkward.
Yeah.
Because they're always like waiting for applause from the audience and like nobody applauds. And I'm like, just fucking, we don't even need that.
Yeah.
This event had like really slick production. It was all shot. A lot of it was shot on a green screen. Like the composites were incredibly well done. The transitions from stage to stage were well done with incredible drone footage. It was so well put together. I'm like, man, Comic-Con, I hope Comic-Con does something this good. They won't, but
I bet they're kicking themselves for not having Comic-Con HQ anymore.
yeah, probably.
That would have been.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah, probably not.
It probably cost them
But
way too much money.
Now would be the time for them to have it.
Yeah, but it was really well done. I was so impressed today. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was just going to be like people. I thought it was going to be like a big Zoom call, but it was they put some real work into it, and it looked really good.
Nice. Might have to go watch that.
We're going to be playing some Monopoly at 6 p.m. here in about 10 minutes. We are continuing the game from a couple weeks
I don't
ago.
remember what the fuck has happened. Because we
You're
haven't played
winning.
this in 3 weeks.
You're fucking winning, Adam.
All right, cool.
That's what I remember.
I might have an offer for you.
No, bullshit. Bullshit. All right, we got some Monopoly starting soon.
Which edition? This is
Standard.
standard, classic,
Yo, we need to get
vanilla.
that mosquito the fuck out of the studio.
I know,
He's
right?
biting me.
Is he biting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled down my sleeves.
I thought something was.
I'm about to burn this place fucking down.
Ooh. Okay.
Sorry, derailing the whole thing.
No, it's fine,
Mosquitoes bite me so much, it drives me fucking crazy.
Are you blood
There it
type
is.
O, or do you like to eat bananas?
I don't know and no.
Okay.
Or I like bananas, but I don't.
Apparently-
How
seek
many?
them out.
Okay, I don't know my blood type either.
I don't either.
And then I'm like, fuck, I should know that. Do you know your blood type?
I don't remember.
I'm about to go to the doctor for the first time.
I
in
used to.
I'm blood type O, and I
years,
can save
so-
all the asses. So okay.
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 All right.
Okay.
Apparently, there's different blood types that are less susceptible to coronavirus too.
Interesting.
But I haven't done enough research to.
Yeah, I'm blood type O, and I'm the universal donor, so you know, ready to suck off of me.
Is it like O negative? Is that the universal one?
Positive, negative, whatevs.
Or is it no, it'd be O positive.
Apparently, blood type O
I can't remember. I used to know
is
this stuff.
mosquitoes like it more, and then also after eating a banana, like 30 minutes after eating a banana, you're more susceptible to.
Why don't they just go straight to the banana?
Yeah.
Why can't you just go suck on that banana, mosquito?
Why don't you go fuck off?
Go straight to the source. Quit coming from my banana filter, my
damn.
filter banana.
Apparently, blood type O is less susceptible. I mean, there's a lot of like pseudoscience-y things about like blood type. Like in Asia, it's almost like your personality test, like your horoscope or something. That each blood type has their own.
That makes way more sense than horoscopes.
That mosquito just flew in front of her face, and it didn't matter what she was talking about before.
Oh man, yeah. So there's some dumb like personality type like things.
There it is. It's on your cup.
Ah!
On your
Kill
cup.
it.
It's right
I
there. It's
see
right
it.
there.
Fucking
Get it.
murder that thing.
You got it.
I don't.
Census.
Is it?
This is the only thing that makes me nervous about our road trip.
Oh, it's a fruit fly.
That's not a mix. That's not a mosquito.
No, that's not.
That's a fruit fly.
No, it's
That's
fruit fly.
not a
That's the only thing that makes me nervous about our RV trip. Is like I know I'm gonna get eaten alive.
Oh, dude, we're gonna go through some of those southern states where you're gonna be like, "Why the fuck does anyone live here?"
Yeah.
If we're doing this road trip
Burn
in
this whole
August
state.
and we start going through Louisiana
I
and
know.
stuff like that, you're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "Why the fuck does anyone live here?"
And why the fuck did I go?
Your body's sticky from all the bug spray you gotta wear.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling.
You got to use the DEET.
I'm gonna be reconsidering this for the next 3 days.
Oh no.
Hey, man. It's cool. It's cool. Anything else we want to talk about before we switch over for Monopoly? Thank you guys so much for listening. I know that we were talking about some heavy stuff today, but we want to keep these kinds of things an open discussion here at Hyper RPG. And
They're important.
They're important. We shouldn't shy away from important things. Especially not for the sake of, like, content or entertainment or whatever the fuck you want to call what we do here now.
Talking to a camera.
Hi, camera.
Hello.
Hello there.
So,
Hi.
saw it.
Anything else you got on your list of things we should talk about today?
No.
Michael Keaton?
We want to talk about that for 4 minutes.
More emotes.
Do you think it's going to happen?
I mean, I hope so. It'd be really cool.
Context?
Michael Keaton is going to apparently appear in the Flash movie.
As Batman?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, they said Bruce Wayne. I don't think he'll be suited up. I think he'll show up as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because originally they were going to do Flashpoint, which is, a take on the comic book, loosely take on the comic book. But if Ben Affleck's not coming back as Batman, what's the point of having Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
It's going to be like Crisis on Infinite Earths, where
Kind
there's
of, yeah.
there's just like he's running through the timeline, and you just see like a flash of Michael Keaton go by.
No, he's actually supposed to. Well, from what I read, he's going to take on, if it happens, because they're still talking, they're like still negotiating it. If it happens, he's going to take on a little bit of like a Nick Fury type of role, and he'll show up in multiple movies, including a Batgirl movie. So I guess they're probably going to like be setting it up. And Batgirl is apparently going to take on sort of like the Batman role in the DC films. Because Ben Affleck's like done.
So wait,
Doesn't
this
wanna
is
do
like a
anymore.
whole nother plan for the DCEU again?
Apparently.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see. It's going to be directed by the writer-director of It, Andy Muschietti. He'll be producing it with his sister, Barbara Muschietti. So we'll see if it happens. I think like if they really go down this multiverse path, it could open up a lot of opportunities for them. And I think like on TV, in terms of success, in terms of like hype. It was successful. The story itself was kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
But it could be an interesting way to bring in Batgirl and start exploring new members of the Bat family. We'll see. It's right now it's at that point where it could tomorrow or in a week they could be like, it's actually not happening because Michael Keaton was like, I'm good. I don't want to do Bruce Wayne anymore.
Yeah, you know.
But it could be really exciting if they do it.
Cool.
And maybe Batman Beyond will come out of it.
That would be dope. I mean, if you're doing a multiverse and you got an old Bruce Wayne, people are going to be upset if you don't.
I mean, it'd be amazing if there's like a scene with Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne and he's like, all right, come with me. And then he's like, well, Terry, you got this, right? And you see like Terry McGinnis. I'd be like, whoo, holy shit. It'd be pretty amazing.
Hell yeah, man. So it's going to be an exciting week here at Hyper RPG. Like I said, we're about to play some Monopoly. It definitely won't get violent. Definitely won't.
Why would it get violent? And whose turn is it next?
Oh, shit.
You started the turn, and I think we went all the way around, didn't we?
I'll give you my turn.
We played 3 weeks ago.
I remember how bad I was getting fucked.
And on that note,
I remember very specifically how bad I was getting fucked.
I have $35.
Just putting that out there. I don't have a lot of money either.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, Lord.
We got Flex Tycoon over here.
Flex Tycoon.
Yep.
My dad promised me I'd have more real estate by now.
He's not your father, but...
I've got over $300.
Oh, my fucking God.
I have like 65.
Okay, well, we're going to get set up for Monopoly. Thank you guys so much. We'll be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. It's going to be an interesting week here at Hyper RPG, so thank you so much for joining us and support.
Week.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to show you our clips from last week. Thank you, Jay Pistol, for putting those together for us every week. We don't say that enough. Thank you, mods. Seriously.
Truth.
Thank you to all the mods.
I mean, 100%. This channel wouldn't exist without them.
Absolutely true.
They keep so much of this channel alive. Thank you, mods.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.